بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أسعد الأنبياء وخاتم المرسلين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, to our brothers in Iman and our sisters in faith and our respected viewers in Ink TV, I pray to Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to shower His mercy and blessings upon all of you. I opted to be before you tonight because there are 10 different topics that I wanted to share with Muslims after this blessed month of Ramadan, the Ramadan of 1436. This Ramadan was unbelievable Ramadan, and there are some uniqueness things about this specific Ramadan that made me to share these views and thoughts with Muslims worldwide. And I call this 10 series of presentations the lessons and the blessings. You see, lessons and the blessings. There are many lessons that we actually glean and obtain from this particular Ramadan. And basically all the Ramadanat or the Ramadan, Ramadan, either you put the plural form of Ramadan is what? Ramadanat, right? Some scholars put it that also you can say, Ramadan as well as a plural, but basically Ramadanat is based on the qiyas, and that's the most, common. However, when it comes to Ramadan, Ramadan teaches us many, many lessons. So I would like to take at least 10 lessons out of this previous Ramadan to talk to you about. If you don't see me here, I can do it somewhere. You can check it online, bi-idhnillahi tabarak wa ta'ala. But we make sure, inshallah, we run through the 10 lessons. So they are lessons and the blessings. The first lesson that Ramadan teaches us, or we can say Ramadan taught us, is as-sabr. That's the first lesson. As-sabr, patience and endurance. This is the most affluent and the best lesson that one could say is something that I obtained and benefited from Ramadan. Patience. And patience in Islam is actually embodied in 3. So basically we have 3 different types of patience. How many? 3. The first is as-sabru ala ta'atillah. The second is as-sabru an ma'siyatillah. The third is as-sabru ala aqdarillah subhanahu jalla jalaluh. 3 types of patience in this deen, basically in life, not only the deen of Islam. 3 types of patience. The first, as-sabru ala ta'atillah. The second, as-sabru an ma'siyatillah. The third, as-sabru ala aqdarillah. These are the 3 things that Ramadan left us with to see who will practice these 3 types of as-sabr. The first type of as-sabr, as-sabru ala ta'atillah, meaning patience when it comes to worship. When it comes to worship, being patient. Worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires extra sabr. So being patient, you have to make sure you have extra sabr to be able to worship based on the sharia of the deen of Allah. Like Imam al-Qahtani said, din bi-shari'ati fi umurika kulliha. When it comes to the shara of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, practice your deen based on the shara. How can you do this? Through patience. Allah had asked you to fast. Amid the day of Ramadan, during the daytime of Ramadan, you see yourself hungry. You want to drink. It's not like you don't have money. You do have it. It's not like your fridge is empty. No, you have food. Whatever you want is there for you, halal. But just for this period of time, from dawn to dusk, you cannot even drink. You cannot even eat, though sometimes you're starving, but you're still keeping it tight. What actually goes to, or what encourages you to stay in this type of iman and ibadah, that drink in front of you, nobody will tell you don't if you opt to drink. But what is preventing you is patience in the ibadah. You're showing to Allah that I'm patient even though I want to drink, but because I'm worshiping you, I want to exercise this patience with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the first level of patience. With your family, she is halal, but during the daytime of Ramadan, nothing, no relationship. As-sabru ala ta'atillah, being patient with ta'ah, worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when it comes to the night prayer, a person feels comfortable when sitting. But you stand up throughout the night, sometimes 1, 2 hours or 3 hours, you standing making salah. Sometimes you're tired, you feel like your feet is kind of scratching, but you cannot sit, or you can actually sit if you want to, but you don't want to. Why? As-sabru ala ta'atillah, patience when it comes to ibadah, worshiping Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first lesson in Ramadan, as-sabru ala ta'atillah. And Prophet ﷺ had mentioned that patience, meaning as-sabr, nisfu, patience is half, or as-sawmu, nisfu as-sabr. Fasting by itself is half of what? Half of patience. Though the hadith has some weakness in it. Imam in the book of Lata'if al-Ma'arif, Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali mentioned it, but the hadith, as he himself mentioned, has some weakness. But scholars of hadith like Ibn Rajab, Ibn al-Qayyim, Shaykh al-Islam and others, sometimes they mention it and they mention the weakness of it for istidlal, for certain things. So the point here is, siyam, fasting itself is half of patience. Why? Because you see things that are halal for you before Ramadan, or things that are halal when you are not fasting. Now that you're fasting, they are haram, but you're still patient. So this is the first lesson of Ramadan, patience. And patience, as we mentioned, 3 kinds. Sabru ala ta'atillah, sabru an ma'asiyatillah, as-sabru ala aqdarillahi al-mu'lima. So the first type of patience, patience when it comes to ibadah, worshiping Allah. And Allah in Quran, in Surah Bara'ah mentions, when you struggle as a Muslim to do something to please Allah, and that struggling is resulting some sort of weakness and fatigue, and you getting weaker and weaker, but still you're holding it tight, and you try to keep it down, and you're trying to worship Allah through this type of patience and type of sabr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, whatever results pain for you as a person, as being in the ibadah of Allah, meaning you worshiping Allah, but some pain attached to it. And even those in bantamweight and those in WWE themselves, they mention if you don't have no pain, no pain, no gain. So as a mu'min, you try your best with ibadah in patience. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ لَا يُصِيبُهُمْ ظَمَأٌ وَلَا نَصَبٌ وَلَا مَخْمَصَةٌ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَلَا يَطَؤُونَ مَوْطِئًا يَغِيظُ الْكُفَّارَ وَلَا يَنَالُونَ مِنْ عَدُوٍّ نَيْلًا إِلَّا كُتِبَ لَهُمْ بِهِ عَمَلٌ صَالِحٌ. This ayah is tight, it's deep. You can check this ayah out whenever you have time. This ayah is actually the end of Surah Bara'ah, or Surah Tawbah, from ayah 120 all the way to 122, where Allah mentioned about the story of Ka'b and his 2 friends. Allah mentions that whenever Muslims, or whenever the believers move for the pleasure of Allah, seeking to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in this course of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, maybe hunger or that which they do not like afflict them during this journey, or what they are doing to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without offending others, but others get upset with them, and others get angry at them, or non-Muslim get angry at them, though they did not offend them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, whosoever hates you or dislikes you because you worshiping Allah and you did not wrong that person, when he is angry at you, Allah said, we write a reward for you. Subhanallah. You see, so all this comes with what? With sabr. So you're doing something to please Allah. You did not wrong anyone, but the person is angry at you. Just hold it down. Hold it tight with Allah. Allah said we will reward you. If they don't like what you're doing, we do love what you're doing, so long as you don't have anything to do against them, or just what you're doing to please Allah is what get them upset. Allah said we will reward you. So this patience, brothers in Iman and sisters in faith, is the first lesson that we gleaned from Ramadan. So keep it tight and keep this patience with you, and always, patience, as Prophet said, it does not come just by saying it. It comes with what? Exercising this patience. It comes with exercise. As-sabru bit-tasabbur. Patience comes with exercise. You have to try your best to be patient. It's not like, oh Allah, please grant me with patience. I don't have sabr. Please Allah give me a sabr. As you're making the dua, somebody step on your feet and then you give him a side kick. you making the dua and accidentally somebody stepped on your foot. Allah give me patience, huh? And then you give him some. You see, so that means you did not exercise what you ask Allah for. You see, so as-sabr bit-tasabbur. Try your best. Something happened, that gets you really upset. You try to control the situation. Like Prophet advised the man who came asking and consulting Prophet ﷺ. What did Prophet say to him? La taghdab. Do not allow anger, to take or to control your life. La taghdab means it doesn't mean don't get angry. Prophet ﷺ himself, he gets angry, right? But when you go against the way of Allah, he gets angry, right? Like a person came to Prophet ﷺ asking Prophet to pardon. Prophet said, what you did is against the way. And you were warned, but still you did it. And now you want Allah's atashfa' fi hudud. The Prophet get angry. And then he went to Umar. He said to Umar, please, ishfa'li inda Rasulillah, intercede, for me before Prophet ﷺ. Umar said, you asking me to intercede in hadd min hududillah, something that you did against Allah, you're asking me to intercede before Prophet on your behalf? Wallahi, if I cannot find anything to fight against you, save my siwak, I will use it to whip you with it. You see? So Prophet himself get angry. But when something goes wrong with Allah or the deen of Allah. So la taghdab does not mean don't get angry. There are places where you're supposed to be angry. Like Imam al-Shafi'i said, man ustughdiba falam yaghdab fahuwa himar. You see? Whosoever, like as a person who is actually agitated by somebody's action, trying to provoke him to get angry, and the person didn't get angry, that means that person is a donkey. You see? But you get angry in the best place. The place where your anger will change things from, negative to what? To positive. That's when, but nothing wrong, one too upset, one too angry, no, you control it. So Prophet said, La taghdab, don't get angry. It does not mean don't get angry. Just like that, meaning do not allow your anger to what? To control you. La taghdab, la taghdab, la taghdab. So with this, you can exercise, sabr upon sabr. And this is the first lesson that Ramadan left us with, patience. So try your best, exercise this, and try it with your family, try it with your kids, try it with your wife, try it with your husband, try it with your parents, try that with your own, colleagues, try that with your community, try that with your society, try that, just try until patience itself comes to you and say, you know what, now you've actually graduated from the University of Patience, so now I need you to advise me how to be patient. صبر الصبر فاستغاث به الصبر فقال الصبور يا صبر صبرا. Meaning, when you are extra patient, the patience itself will ask you, hey, I know you are patient and I'm the patient, still I don't have extra patience. Please advise me in how to be patient. That's how a believer should move. So today we talked about the first portion of patience, as-sabru ala ta'atillah. Patience when it comes to worshiping Allah. When it comes to Allah's worship, you have to be patient. Wake up for Fajr, the blanket is warm. You want to continue, Shaitan is telling you, you know what? Allah is Ghafurur Rahim. You've been going to Fajr, but today just, let it go. But you tell your blanket, what? I have to be patient in ibadah. So you jump and make wudu to come for salah. This is another form of what? As-sabr. So try your best not to lose this lesson that you obtain, from the month of Ramadan. And in Ramadan, keep that with you and be patient in your deen, in your dunya, and everything. And the person who is patient, a patient person, gets whatever he wants, whether it's sooner or later. You see, so try your best with this sabr. Tomorrow, bi-idhnillahi tabaraka wa ta'ala, after Fajr, we will talk about the next, level of as-sabr, which is as-sabr an ma'siyatillah. And then after Salat al-Maghrib, we will talk about as-sabr ala aqdarillah. So 3 types of what? As-sabr. The first, as-sabr ala ta'atillah. The second is as-sabr an ma'siyatillah. The third is as-sabr ala aqdarillah. The third one is where you're going to see who is the believer. The last one, as-sabr ala aqdarillah. That's when you will see who is a really believer. The qadr of Allah. When something happens out of qadr, few people will accept that. But a believer accepts it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And don't be like that that guy, from Egypt. I hope we don't have Egyptians here. You see the guy from Egypt. The Imam said to him, be patient. He said, Imam, I'm patient, man. Imam said, just be patient. He said, I'm patient, but still I can handle. Allah, every day, fitna upon fitna, mihna upon mihna. I'm patient, and all the time you tell me to be patient. Sheikh said, just to be. This is, أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. صاحب الإيمان دائما بيبتلى كده. الله يا عم الشيخ ما فيش في الدنيا ده مؤمن إلا أنا. Allah. You say, all this world ain't no believer except me. Allah should test the rest of the believers and leave me alone. We have many believers. I'm not the only one. You see, so this is when a person does not accept what? The qadr of Allah. Because the qadr comes with a sabr. So we don't want to be like that guy. Many believers, Allah deal with them and leave me alone. A believer shouldn't speak like that. You see, so we will talk about the remaining 2 bi-idhnillahi tomorrow, insha'Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Thank you very much for being with us in the lesson along with the blessings. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatuhu wa barakatuh.